Can you do an Australian accent?
No.
Give it a go. Go on.
Have you guessed what it is yet?
That was a quite good American accent.
Really?
You want to do the cliched, put another shrimp on the barbie.
Put another shrimp on the barbie, mate.
Yeah, we're going to get stabbed. Everybody, we're coming to Australia. Yep, this November, Behind the Glass Live Down Under is taking place. You've never been before, have you?
Never been.
Are you excited or scared?
No, I am. Well, hold on a minute. I am really excited. I am genuinely concerned about the flight and being eaten.
Yes. So every time I've mentioned, oh, mate, we can do some sightseeing, you say, yeah, anywhere but the beach. Don't want to get eaten by a shark.
I mean, there are sharks there.
There are sharks. You know there are sharks here.
Mate, not like there are in Australia. I mean, they genuinely eat you in Australia.
Anyway, for those of you that are down under, here are the dates that you need to be aware of. Saturday, the 4th of November, we will be in Melbourne. On Sunday, the 5th of November, we'll be in Gold Coast. Wednesday, the 8th of November, in Sydney. And Saturday, the 11th of November, in Perth. That is 4 live shows. Very soon, we'll be releasing all the information of the venues and where to get tickets. We have to do a big shout out to our partner for the trip, Latham's Steel Doors. If you're looking for a steel door for your dealership or your garage, etc., they are the best. Available in the UK and Australia. Plenty more info on them to come in the weeks and months ahead. But we can't wait, can we?
I am really excited.
You're just nervous about the flight. I get that. It's a long way to go. But it'll be worth it, mate. It'll be worth it. It's a lovely place.
Yeah. And they do nice coffee there, don't they?
They do fantastic coffee.
Yeah.
And great shrimps on barbies.
The food is actually meant to be really nice.
No, I was taking the piss. It's amazing. We're going to have a great time, but we're not going for food and coffee, Tony. We're going for live podcast events. Oi, oi. So yes, stay tuned. Watch this space. Make sure you're listening to the podcast and keeping an eye across our various social media platforms because more information about Behind the Glass Live Down Under coming soon. Hello one and all, and welcome to Behind the Glass, your weekly automotive podcast hosted by two rather uninformed enthusiasts.
No.
I'm Sam from the YouTube channel Seen Through Glass.
I'm Tony from Gravelwood Car Sales.
And you can watch us each week. We hope you enjoy the episode. And we're back! Just like that, the summer break is over, Tony. It flew by in the flash of an eye.
Wait, is it summer?
Well, in the UK, it has not. Well, it's supposed to have been summer. Thing is, I don't really want to talk about the weather.
Well, I would like to talk about the weather. As you can tell by my voice, I've got a cold. I mean, how have I got a cold in the summer?
Summer flu. It's been going around, actually.
Has it really?
Yeah, well...
I mean, I'm genuinely ill. I'm ill.
You are ill in August.
In August?
I am also ill, but should I tell you why I'm ill? It's going to upset you. It is going to upset you.
You're always ill. Something is always wrong with you, though, mate. There's always something. Yes.
What do you mean?
I don't know. You need to go to the toilet or...
What? That's such a lie. Never like that. But no, I'm ill because I went away and I found sun and I got sick from the air conditioning.
Did you... In the plane or in the hotel?
In the hotel because it was... Well, the day we went to Lisbon in Portugal, a lovely place. The day we arrived, it was 39 degrees.
Beautiful.
So we had to have the aircon full
up
because of baby.
Uh-huh.
And then Vicky decided that just to make it like 17 degrees in the room all night.
Baby, right? Was the baby all right?
I guess. I wasn't.
No, she wasn't ill. She wasn't ill.
No, she was fine.
Right.
She's been fine. I'm the one who's
sore throat and all that.
Yeah.
Yeah, terrible.
Just dries you out, doesn't it?
Absolutely, yeah.
Sorry if you're listening to this episode and you're thinking, God, they sound a bit nasally, these two.
You sound like Daleks, both of us.
It would come back from our break on, hello, how are you?
Oh, yeah.
Apologies for that. But we are back, in case you missed it. And I know some of you did, because I had some DMs and some emails being like, where's the podcast? What's happened? We took our annual summer break, but one of our shorter ones. Previously, we've taken a whole month off.
Well, not months. We've had a month.
Yeah.
That's normally what happened.
a month
But we got
off.
so much going on this back end of the year. We need to come back, mate.
We need to crack on.
Yeah.
Because there's a lot to talk about. And actually, let's get straight into it. I drove the 718 Spyder RS.
You did, yeah.
And I wanted to talk about this.
Well, I was going to go in on you on the gram, but I thought I'll wait till I know a little bit more information, and then I'll get you
Oh, well, what were you going to go in on?
that stupid roof.
Hmm.
But actually, I'd rather get wet, mate, than sod around putting that roof up and down.
Porsche would rather you get wet than sort around putting that roof on as well.
Really?
1,000,000%, whether they are officially saying it or not, and I think they are officially saying it, they did not want to sell that car with a roof.
Oh, right.
So the word from them the night before, so during our press briefing, which you're now very familiar with, was that this concept started out as potentially a new 911 Speedster.
Right.
So they thought, do we make, and they were like, I'm not really sure, 992, 911 is all a bit familiar, what can we do here? So that's when they switched to doing a 718 Spyder RS. And their initial plan was for it to be a roadster, to have no roof. They wanted it to be a permanent roadster. But I'm assuming, and this is the part they didn't admit, is that commercial pressures or someone on the board went, that's ridiculous. You can't sell a car with no roof.
Not in the UK.
Not, and so many other parts around the world.
Well, Europe.
Yeah.
Half of Europe.
But also heat. Like you're not just talking about rain.
Yeah, you're right.
There are plenty of places around the world where you just can't get away with that. So they had to come up with some system. And so they went for the lightest possible solution.
Yeah.
Because the whole car is supposed to be very, very light. It's 40 kilos lighter, I think, than a standard 718 Spyder. And it's like something weird, like 4 kilos lighter than a GT4 RS or something.
Lighter
obscure.
or heavier?
Lighter.
Oh, right.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah, because it's not got a electric roof. That's
it's not got an electric roof. It's all manual.
Yeah.
So I think I'm forgetting all the numbers, but it's something like the roof is 16 kilos lighter than the standard Spyder, and you can leave the top element at home, which saves another 8 kilos. So basically, don't take the roof.
You know what I did like about the roof?
Go on.
The little emblem. The little
I don't like
Visac
that.
emblem. I think that's a nice detail, mate.
I don't like that.
I know, but there's a lot of things that you like and I don't like. It's amazing we're friends.
We
But
could go on for hours.
literally, this whole episode.
Literally, or two. But yeah, so this is the thing. I saw a lot of people like, this is ridiculous. Like 2 minutes to put a roof up. Like outrageous. But the whole thing is, if you own a Spyder RS and you think, I want to go for a drive today.
Yeah.
You're at home. You check the weather report. And if it's a clear blue sunny day, just leave the roof in the garage and off you go.
Right.
If suddenly, when you're out, some bizarre weather thing happens and it rains, you'll be fine. You'll be absolutely fine. I promise you, you'll be fine. I drove the car in a monsoon. But if when you're leaving the house, you check and it says, oh, you're clear for 2 hours, but in about 3 hours, there is going to be some rain, just put the roof on. Off you go.
Just have the roof on.
Just go for a drive with the roof on.
Or if it's like you said, really hot, just go with the roof on.
So there's a sun canopy version. So there's a way that it's like a sunshade. It's not the full wet weather. So what I did on Instagram is the full wet weather scenario.
The full black roof.
Yeah. So you can just put the top element on, which is obviously quicker. Doesn't protect you really from sideways rain or windy rain, but it protects you from the sun. So if you want a bit of shade. It's actually a very clever system.
Okay.
It's just finicky.
Okay, fine.
And yeah, the quickest I could do it sensibly was 2 minutes.
Right. So if I would class you as quite a competent person. So if you're a div.
Yeah, there was another journalist there who will remain unnamed who couldn't get under 5 minutes. I was really embarrassed when in the car. I was like, oh yeah, I was thinking in 2. They're like, 2? I was like, yeah. So
I'd be 10, I would. I mean, I'd just throw it on the floor and I'd run out of patience, mate.
The other thing is, firstly, I definitely like nicked a finger here and there, or sort of that was annoying.
Yeah.
And I guarantee, a bit like with the Project 7 Jaguar F-Type roof, you will end up damaging paintwork, bodywork, putting it on and off. Do you know what I mean? Because especially if you're in a hurry, there's plenty of things that you can bash inadvertently.
Unless you've got PPF, you'd probably be half all right, no?
Yeah, but even still, there's just parts of the car that I think, rubber elements that will rub and just get rid of the roof. Just get rid of the roof, because let's face it, if you're buying that car, it's not your only car.
Oh, yeah, fair. All right, let's talk about the car. Mm-hmm. I've not driven it yet.
Yep.
But I've driven the GT4 RS.
You have.
So I've got half a comparison. And from a person looking out, I think the GT4 RS Spyder or the 718 Spyder makes more sense than the normal tin top car.
So the Spyder RS is a better proposition than the 4 RS.
I think so, yeah.
I would totally agree.
Okay, good.
And here's my reasoning. So the spring rates are 50% softer in the Spyder RS.
Which was one of the real big things that we picked up, especially driving it in the UK.
Yeah.
It was really hard, wasn't it?
Really, really firm.
Yeah.
Now, what does that actually mean? Well, it sits somewhere between a standard 718 Spyder and a GT4 RS.
Okay.
So it's not like, oh my God, it's suddenly like the squelchy thing. But they also recalibrated the dampers. So it's not just the spring rates. It has meant that whilst the ride is firm, it's just not brittle.
Okay.
It's not, your favourite word, crashy.
Crashy.
Having said that, I drove it on beautiful German roads. So I really can't sit here. And I in my video, I said like 14 times, I'm like, I'm not going to comment on the ride because I don't want to get back to the UK and then go, oh.
But it's got to be better than the Cayman GT4 RS, right? Because it is naturally softer.
All I would say is I spent an entire day. So I was on the TV rotation of the press drives, which means you basically get unlimited time with the car.
Yeah, I was going to say, what's TV mean?
So on a international press launch for a new car, you have rotations of media coming through, and usually it's a set route, set timings. You pick up the car at 9:30. You got a route to lunch, then you have a nice lunch, and then you got a route back to the hotel, and it's all sort of defined. TV is essentially people who are filming with the car, so that could be traditional TV outlets or media outlets with video, and it's unlimited. So basically, they give you the car as early as they can in the morning. There is a suggested route, but you can do whatever you like. There's packed lunch, so you don't have to go to the lunch stop, but there is a lunch stop as well. And you bring the cars back, 10 p.m. if you want. You just have to tell them.
Plenty of cars.
So you're just given all the time, and it's a car each, where on lots of other things, you will be partnered up with another journalist.
So there are plenty of cars then?
Yeah.
Oh, right.
Yeah. There were 8 or 10 cars on rotation. So I had all the time they want. I spent all day in the car, and at no point did I think it's too firm, this ride. So, as I say, it was beautiful German roads, but that's one thing.
Yeah.
The second thing is, do you remember both of us thought that the 4RS just felt a bit frantic, like a bit like,
Yeah.
You're on the motorway and you went, I just want to switch lanes. I'll just apply 5% throttle pressure and it would shift down 4 gears. And, and you're like, oh my God, just breathe.
Yeah. And do you know what as well? It almost reminded me a little bit like a Speciale when I drove that car.
Okay.
Because you can't shut the bloody thing up.
Well.
And the Speciale was always the same.
Yeah, that's not any better in the Spyder RS. And it's even louder.
Yeah,
because it's right there.
Yeah.
But it's all there on one side. All the noise is coming from over your shoulder. And
pure noise or intakes as
intake
well?
Noise.
All intake noise as well?
Mainly intake noise.
Right,
I turned the exhaust button on and off and it made no difference to my overall experience. But it did get to the point where towards the end of the day, I was enough of an old man that I was like, oh, shut up.
Yeah.
I sort of addressed it on camera and I was like, I don't think I can say this in the video. I think I'm going to be eaten alive by the internet. But it just got to the point where I was like, oh, I just want to turn. I just want to hit one button because it's amazing for the first 2 to 3 hours. Yeah. And you're like, wow. But then after a while, you're like, oh my God. There's no point in having a radio in that car. Yeah. Like, absolutely. I had to have it so loud, it was distorting the speakers.
Oh, wow.
Because just to drive anywhere that wasn't a motorway, there is so much noise.
And buffeting.
A bit, but good. I mean, they've controlled that.
But
it is 100% an occasion car.
Yeah.
It's
a blast car. It's a 2 or 3 hour blast car. Come home.
Absolutely. Okay, and what a blast it will be.
Okay, good.
So yeah, I think it's a better proposition than the 4RS personally.
Yeah.
Unless you want to just solely go on track, because Porsche said that this is the first RS car they've made, which is not solely focused at going on track.
Yeah.
This is about country roads. All other RS models really just track focused.
They are, yeah.
The other thing is, I saw a lot of comments from people who were getting a little bit butthurt, saying, of course, I was going to say it's not as good as a GT3 because I own a GT3 and how could I ever admit that a 718 would be better than... But the reason I didn't find it as good. Mainly, it was the front end.
Yeah.
Which we've spoken about a lot before. The new front end on a 992 GT3 is so unbelievable that obviously the 718 Spyder RS has old format front end suspension.
And the GT4 Cayman as well.
It's just not as sharp. It is fantastic. And of course, having a mid-engine car compared to a rear engine changes the driving characteristics, etc. It's a wonderful, wonderful, wonderful car. I just personally didn't find it as good to drive as a GT3. And that's not me because I'm a GT3 owner and I want to protect my investment, as some people were suggesting. Like, bore off.
Yeah.
Like, hopefully you would know that I'm honest and open enough to be like, oh my God, I want to swap my... how many times have I said that? I want to swap my GT3 for a Spyder RS if it was good enough. Like I would have come out and said that and bored you here, saying like, "Oh, I want to sell my car, Tony."
Yeah, I'd have walked out. But
yeah,
but yeah, I mean, I'm
not the kind of person who's going to be like, "Oh, I'm just going to protect my own investment."
No. And without sounding rude, what you say will not dictate the market of GT3 RSs.
No,
the market dictates that.
But also all my own ego. Like, you know, I'm not going to sit here and just deny that any car could ever be better than my GT3. Like,
of course.
If I get in a car that's better, it's better.
It's better, yeah.
But I really, really like the Spyder RS.
Yeah.
If I was a big collector, would I have one? 1,000,000%.
Okay.
And I would not have a 4RS.
You have it over a 911 Speedster?
No. You'd
have the 911 Speedster still?
Yeah, because
that's what you compare it to. You don't compare it to a GT3. You'd probably compare it more to the Speedster than the...
but the Speedster's not as dialed in.
Fair.
Because the Speedster's a lot more relaxed. It's a lot more of a cruiser car.
Yeah.
This is still, it's an RS for the road. So the thing is, it's very turned on. Like,
and it's a PDK as well,
It's
right?
a PDK car. Yeah. It wants to be thrashed. What's more enjoyable about it than the 4RS, because you get all these crazy different noises from the intakes and the exhaust at every part of the rev. You can enjoy it at slower speeds way more than I think you can enjoy the 4RS at slower speeds.
Oh, that's what I was about to say. Because it's so loud, and this is the sometimes the problem with turbocharged cars. You only really get the real enjoyment out of them when you're flat out in them because they're so fast, the turbocharged cars. Whereas the NA cars, you probably don't need to go as fast, right? You can just have a little cruise around and still have the enjoyment.
But the noise changes. I'm going to see here, I tried to film a clip at different levels of acceleration to demonstrate, how much the sound characteristics change depending on how hard you push the throttle pedal. Let me see if this is going to work on the microphone. Pump this right up. So did you hear at the end it changes orally and then you get that final 500 RPM?
Yeah. But they all do that, them Caymans. They always have that loud bit right at the end, where it goes on the cam.
So as you're driving around town, if you just lightly push the throttle, it's a sort of real dull...
Yeah.
But if you do a sharp acceleration away from a roundabout or traffic, like it's a much more... it's really cool. So that's super rewarding. So look, a brilliant car.
Yeah.
Brilliant car. None of us are getting one. They're going to appear on the used market for stupid money, not be worth it.
Less numbers than a 4RS?
They didn't say.
Okay, fine. I bet they'll make similar numbers. Probably,
I think... who knows? But I think
we'll soften off.
300 odd grand to begin with, I would assume.
No, really?
Yeah, I think so.
Do you think 50 grand more than the Cayman 4RS?
So.
Do you?
Yeah, it's hard to know, but I do think so.
Okay.
So let's wait and see. But brilliant car, and I would happily spend more time in one.
Yeah.
I'd be interested to see what you thought about it either way.
Yeah. I think I'd have one, I would.
You think you'd have one?
I think you would, yeah.
I think you would. It'd be a wicked car for a trip, for one of your trips.
That's what I'm saying, I think I'd have one for a trip. And it'd almost be nice, because it's so different to a GT3, you can have it alongside.
Yeah, for sure. The thing which I would say is, because of the gearing, our cars, GT3s, don't necessarily feel that fast in a straight line, especially when you're with other things. But if you're by yourself and you're on the right road, they can feel quick enough, and they do get up and go.
Yeah.
That Spyder RS, it really felt like you really had to rev it out to get it going. Anyway, another Porsche was unveiled whilst we were off air, which doesn't necessarily compete with the Spyder RS, but value-wise might. The 911 ST.
Oh, mate, I am not interested in that car.
We talked about it a lot in advance, that we were waiting for it to be unveiled, and it finally has been unveiled. Why are you not interested? What do you not care about?
I again, like a little bit like the Sport Classic. And actually, do you know what? I cannot believe I'm about to say this. I'd probably rather have the Sport Classic than the ST. Because I literally think that ST, just go and buy a touring. Just literally just have a touring. Because it is a touring, barring a couple of little special bits and pieces around it. I mean...
Mechanical special bits, though.
Yeah, okay, fair. But it's a manual car, right? So... Unless you're a real proper driver, which apparently if you own a manual, you are a proper driver.
I can confirm that is true, Tony.
And you're not going to ever feel the difference between the two cars unless you can really drive. I think.
Okay, sorry, go on.
I need to drive it, but I think it's too similar, and it is just. I mean, it's genius from Porsche, like we said from some of these manufacturers before. From their point of view, why would they not make it? It's all sold. The cost for them to make it won't be a huge amount difference to a touring. So why? I mean, it's genius, but I just think it's a stupid car.
I think I felt really disappointed in the looks. They seem to have done next to nothing visually to make it stand out against a 992 Touring.
What would you like them to do though, mate?
Well, look at the Sport Classic. The Sport Classic, at least you see it and you go, oh, it's a Sport Classic. You said, oh, it looks just like a 911, but there are enough details.
Apart from the towel, it does look like a normal 911.
Yeah, but the roof, the way you can spec it, I went through the whole argument saying, okay, you can do a lot of these options on other 911s, but say what you will, be negative as what you want, you see a Sport Classic, you go, oh, it's a Sport Classic. You do know that.
If you're, of course I know.
If you're a Porsche person.
Because I'm a Porsche person, I'm a car bloke. But if you're the 50 million people in this country, they're just going to 911.
Doesn't matter.
It does matter.
Because my point being, if you parked a 992 GT3 Touring and an ST together, I'm not sure even I could tell you which is which. Do you know what I mean? Like, there are some changes, but you're going to have the guy, and I made this post on Instagram, go, it's not a Touring, by the way. And you're going to go, oh, isn't it? They're going to go, no, it's an ST. Let me show you why. So if you could look at this, and you're going to be like, oh, you're going to be there for 20 minutes while they point out all the minute details that make it an ST, not a Touring.
Why is it a badge?
No, because the front wing is slightly more angled, like from the RS. There's a few little cuts here and scrapes there, and lower bits this. Like,
the windows are different.
It's so minute, and in a boring colour, like the launch car, black. Well done, Porsche. What an inventive way to launch a new car. Black car.
Oh, I think it's lovely. I'd have a black car.
I know you would. But generally, there just wasn't anything on it apart from what's under the skin. And I know that's kind of what they're going for, right? They're like, this is pure driving.
But all Porsche GT cars are pure driving. They're all the same.
But this is the purest experience. There's no fuss. This is literally just the best driving experience you can have.
It's unbelievable marketing.
Except we all told you that the best driving experience came with rear wheel steer. You all needed it. We've got rid of it on this car, which is the best. There's a few decisions in there which, look, I am certain, me especially, I'll drive that car and I'm going to say to you, it's the best 911 ever made. I'm going to say, it's absolutely unbelievable. Oh my God, Tony, it's so good. But on paper, it's quite hard to get that excited by it, I think, because some of the decisions seem weird. You know, it is basically a 911R successor. It is essentially a manual touring GT3 RS, but they've got rid of some options and they've put like that lightweight, tell I've been on a break. They've copied, I think, over the 911R. It's the lightweight flywheel, haven't they brought over?
Have they?
I'm pretty sure.
So the clutch is really bitey.
Which everyone said was way too noisy and annoying on the road in the R. It was the biggest thing that people slagged off. Let me just check here. I don't want to get that wrong. So, with the GT3 RS available only with a 7-speed blat, this becomes the most powerful Porsche has equipped with a manual gearbox. This 6-speed manual has shorter ratios than in a GT3 and is engaged via a bespoke lightweight clutch. The single mass flywheel is by itself said to shave 10.5 kilos.
Right, but it will have
45 kilos lighter than a GT4 RS and 70 kilos lighter than a GT3 RS.
Okay, fair. But it will have shorter ratios. It's 7-speed box, right? Not 6.
No, it's the 6-speed.
Is it a 6-speed still?
It must be the 6-speed because it's a GT department car.
Okay, fine.
So it'll definitely be the 6-speed.
Because the Sport Classic 7-speed, isn't it?
Yeah, but that's not a GT department car.
Oh, right. Okay,
it's
fine.
a standard car. So look, as I say, I'm sure it's going to be great. It's going to feel light. It's going to be powerful. It's going to be amazing. But Yeah, visually and on paper, I was like, oh, what more could they have done? I don't know. Do you know what I mean? Like I'm sitting here complaining. I couldn't tell you what more they could have done. It is the recipe we expected, a manual 3RS. There it is, and it's super light. So I will bite my tongue until I've driven it, but I just implore those of you lucky enough to be getting one, spec them bravely so that I don't have to be bored by you on all the details that make it so wonderfully unique. Do you know what I mean?
Yeah, I understand. Don't just have a black or grey one, 'cause
Yeah.
you'll really upset him.
Well, I'll just call it touring. If you do, I'm just going to troll you and go, oh, nice touring you got there, mate. And if you say it's an STL guy, I don't care.
Yeah.
Do you know what I mean?
Although he will really care.
I will really care. Because I'm like, oh my God, it's the Holy Grail.
Yeah.
You know I'm going to fall in love with that car.
I know, yeah, because
know.
I know you'll fall in love with it because it's a pile of poo.
It's not a pile of poo.
Well, in my opinion, it is. It's a stupid car. I'm not interested.
You don't want a manual 3RS.
I don't want a manual 3RS. And it's not even like it's a dialed down 3RS. It's not even a proper one.
Yeah.
So what's the point?
It's a big, great road driver's car.
Oh, yeah, if you can really drive.
People like me who drive manual know what we're doing.
Yeah.
PDKs for losers.
Heel and toe.
Yeah. We don't have to actually because it auto blips. But Okay, well, look, from cars that I get overexcited about, I want to talk about one that you've been weirdly overexcited to buy. The Emira 4-cylinder.
Oh, no. I didn't say I wanted to buy it.
I didn't say that either.
That's what you just said.
I said you got overexcited by.
Oh, overexcited by.
Not overexcited to buy.
Oh, right.
Obviously had its sort of rollout at Goodwood Festival of Speed, and now some initial press reviews have dropped. You keep messaging me going, oh, mate, I really want to get behind the wheel on these Emira 4-cylinders.
Yeah.
What's wrong with you? What's happened?
I don't know, mate. I just think that engine and that car will be, as in its perfect power. Although not what you told me at the weekend. I might have changed my mind now because you told me a couple of things at the weekend which I'm not particularly happy about.
Well, to be fair, I need to do more research. I watched one review, which was Smoking Tyre.
Okay.
No, Matt didn't actually go and do it. Zach was doing it instead.
Okay.
And the bits that stood out to me was that the gearbox apparently is very slow. Very, very slow.
Which would really annoy me.
Infuriating.
And
that it feels a little underpowered. Like they could have just given it a bit more oomph.
What is it, like 370 or 380?
380, I think.
But I'd be more... I think that's okay, the power, because it's the gearbox that would annoy me.
Well, you know what that screams to me? What I'm getting this massive 4C vibe from it.
Shame.
You know, I'm getting that real, like, that's what it's going to be like.
Yeah.
Good looking, light, great chassis and steering and things like that, but then actually a bit lethargic.
But maybe they've had to do that, mate, because otherwise it's better than the 3 litre one. Do they want it to be better than the 3 litre one? Because I always thought that car would be the one to have, not the 3 litre manual.
You said that from day one, haven't you?
Yeah, and that's probably why I'm excited to drive it, because I genuinely think that bit. But if the gearbox is not very good, I mean, I'll be in. Just going by Cayman, like I said all along.
Let's see. There's a review here on Car and Driver, which I think is America. It is America. So 360 horsepower.
Yeah, it's enough though, mate. It's fine.
360 horsepower. Yeah, of course, but it's all within reason. It doesn't matter just the horsepower figure. It depends how it's deployed, where it is, where's the torque in there, and how does it go down the road.
How much does it weigh, the car?
Of course it's enough, but it can still feel like you want more. The Alpine A110, super light car, but you wanted the A110S to come along because it just felt like it needed a bit more urgency.
Yeah.
Okay. Complicating the comparison is the fact that the two engines don't share a transmission. The V6 has the standard 6-speed, the option of a 6-speed torque converter. The 4-cylinder is paired solely with the 8-speed dual-clutch automatic that's familiar with the transverse-mounted AMG. The massive blah, blah, blah. Despite their proximity on paper, the second Emira variant possesses a very different personality. The AMG engine has a huge muscle but feels less sophisticated than the supercharged V6. At low RPM, there's noticeable turbo lag, and even at higher revs, it takes a couple of beats for boost to build and response to sudden accelerator inputs. The inline 4 is also louder. All of this adds to excitement, but not refinement. As in its Mercedes applications, the dual-clutch gearbox shifts quickly, near seamlessly. Oh, well, here they're saying it does. In drive, the gearbox alters its shifting strategy according to which... Sport mode. Fortunately, manual gear selection is simple and enjoyable with pleasingly solid feeling metal paddles. When the gearbox electronic brain anticipates a shift, gear changes are delivered almost seamlessly. Well, car and driver disagree with what Zach had to say, but it was easy to hit the rev limiter when upshifting, as if the display were lagging slightly.
Yeah, I do kind of understand what Zach's saying, because the A45S, the gearbox isn't like as sharp as a BMW or an Audi. It's not quite as seamless. There is a tiny delay. Like it's not a lot, but there is a tiny delay. So that might be what he's talking about, and he really expects it to be seen. And I can see why it would be annoying, because it would annoy me as well. I just hope that they'd probably sorted that out with that car, as in, recalibrated it and made it a bit more snappy. Maybe they haven't. That's what,
Well, fingers crossed we're going to get behind the wheel at some point. That, I think, might be our next test drive special here, on the podcast. Following our Maserati experience, I think I'd be keen to us to maybe even go to Hethel and do a bit of a podcast in and around Hethel and then jump behind the wheel of a 4-cylinder. Because that'd be cool. Because
that is a car because I normally go into cars being, reserved. Anti.
But you're the opposite.
I am this time I'm the opposite.
Why don't you place a deposit before we go?
No, I don't want to buy one. No.
We should do Electra on the same day. We should do Emira 4-cylinder and Electra as a podcast test drive special.
What's the Electra?
The big SUV.
Oh, yeah.
That'd be cool, right?
I haven't driven that one.
We'll arrange that. That'll be a day out.
Yeah, that's a nice
Clear
day
your
out.
diary.
All right, son.
Now, speaking of engines and AMG engines.
Fast ones.
Well, let's talk about the rumour that came out that Mercedes were contemplating bringing the V8 back for their C63 models.
Yeah.
Famously went to this, the 2-litre 4-cylinder hybrid, whatever. Yeah. That everyone was like, oh, what is this? That's not an AMG. And press or media for that new C63 has been super quiet. Yeah. It's almost as if Mercedes have buried that car slightly. Has it been delivered anywhere? Have there been any?
I've not seen one.
I've not seen one anywhere. The last pricing was announced, a month ago or something?
More or longer. The last I heard, they were having problems with the hybrid systems.
Well,
trying to get them to work.
Makes sense as to why they want to bring the V8 back. Yeah. But I don't really remember seeing or reading too many reviews.
No,
if there
me
have
too.
been any.
Yeah.
I've requested to have a going one at the factory and here in the UK many times. Not available. I'm so sorry.
Really?
So, very weird, that car. And then this kind of story broke that, AMG were contemplating just bringing the V8 back, potentially that hybrid V8 that's in the S-Class, I think.
Okay.
Now, when this happened, I think you were like, no chance.
No chance what?
That Mercedes would do that. You're like, they've invested way too much money. It's not possible. It's not going to happen.
When did I say that?
Didn't you say that in the WhatsApp group? I'm sure in the WhatsApp group you were like poo-pooing the story. And I said, oh, well, actually, I have a...
You have an in.
I have an inside.
I said I didn't say no chance. They won't get rid of the product. They'll put it in something else. That's what I say.
You said the 2-litre 4-cylinder will go into another car.
They'll put it into... There'd be no chance they won't... They'll just throw it away. They spend way too much money.
Yeah, no, I would agree with you there.
They'll put it into something else.
But a bit like we saw with the Cayman 2-litre, I think that...
They run that for 4 years though, mate.
For sure, but they very quickly bought... So maybe it would be C63, C63S, and maybe there'll be a C63R, which has got the V8. Do you know what I mean?
Or maybe they do the C63 and it's the 2-pot and the S is the V8.
Yeah, because maybe no one's buying the 2-pot. Maybe that's what they've gone. They've gone, oh, crap. Yeah. But I had an insider tip. I can't name my source, but I found out about this about a year ago.
Yeah.
Like someone who really, really knows what they're talking about in the world of Mercedes.
Yeah.
Said to me in a completely separate conversation, oh, yeah, they're already looking. It was a wider conversation about synthetic fuels and the future of mobility. And they just happened to mention this. And I was like, no way. And now suddenly it's broken. It's like, well, okay. I think somebody's come out saying, no, we're never going to do this. This is crazy. Today, saying it's a silly story. But there's no smoke without fire, Tony.
No, of course.
No smoke without fire. No. So how do you read that? Just as a general consumer and car fan, when that story came out, you went, well, duh, or you went, nah. How do you think they should bring the V8 back?
Well, I mean, if it's not broken, don't fix it. I mean, they sold loads of V8 cars. I mean, surely they can sort the emissions out. I mean, BMW still do big, well, they're not big, but they're still 3-litre cars in their M cars, and Audi still use V6 petrols for their RS cars, and the RS6 is still a V8, and I think the new RS6 will be a hybrid V8. So why can't Merc just do a hybrid V8 essentially? The thing is, like, it is a little bit odd because that current V8 car, like in the 2020 and the 2021 cars, it's a bit crap anyway. As in the V8's still there, but there's no noise, mate. It's all pounded into. I mean, I got one in stock. I mean, it's a cracking engine, and we always say how good that. It's one of the best engines on the market because it's so tunable and it goes in everything. It's a great engine.
Yeah. Look at it in the DB12. Unbelievable.
Yeah. There's so many different. It's an amazing engine. That engine, but it's like a bit dead in that car because they literally put all the noise through the speakers, so you can't. It's really quiet outside. You can't hear it.
No, I agree. I mean, like so many cars, but that's one of the worst. It's very.
Yeah.
I don't know why.
Whereas when you think you get a 2016 one, and it's like God shouting at you.
Yeah, fire breathing,
proper loud. We got a 2018 C63 in stock, which is a pre-OPF, which is loud. And then got a 2021 car, which is like a Hoover.
Yeah, silent. I feel weirdly about it. Obviously, V8 is one of my favourite engines of all time. I'm obsessed with V8.
I think it is my favourite.
Yeah, it performs brilliantly, like the way that it can differ in different cars, different setups.
Yeah.
But I'm all for this kind of innovation that we're going through at the moment, and I'm all for new and different things. And I'm not enough of an AMG nerd to sit there and go, they must have V8. You know, like I was quite keen to try out this new setup, this new engine, this new hybridized system. And I do think it feels like weirdly a step backwards if they go and chuck a big V8 back in it for the next generation. I do feel like that's a bit of a, I don't know, like, because I think it's cool when you read these articles saying you can now have, I mean, even the bloody F-Type that, you know, over the last year or so, 575 horsepower, and I was doing like 33, 34 mpg on longer journeys. I mean,
they're better
that's
now,
unbelievable compared to my first F-Type that I ever had, which, you know, I'd struggled to get out of the teens.
Yeah.
The way that these things are developed and we design. So I'm all for a bit of, new era, new age and new developments. So if they're going to stick a V8, I just want them to do something different. Okay, so a mild hybrid or something like that could be cool. Just because we're in a different world.
We are in a different world.
And if they just go, just stuck the 4-litre V8 in there.
No, I think they would use a hybrid train of some sort because that's what we're seeing with most manufacturers now. Anyway, even Lambo are going that way now, aren't they? So, and we never thought we'd see the day.
No, and this is the thing, you know. Of course, we can be nostalgic and we can not want to let go of the cars, the engines that we love. And I'm definitely not sitting here being like, oh, let's just make everything electric. But I'm just about, I'd say, the innovation side of it. That's what I'm here for. We've had, and we do still have, incredible V8s, V10s, V6s, V12s. And I don't want them to disappear. But I also I'm excited by the idea of new versions. You know, these little tiny engines, like, they don't sound good, but they can perform unbelievably well. 296, what a bloody powertrain. Unbelievable powertrain.
Yeah, too fast.
Too fast.
Yeah.
But loads of character, loads of personality, like a whole new recipe that none of us were really expecting to be as amazing. I'm now rubbing the 296 in your face because obviously not taking the car anymore since we went off air.
Oh, we'll have one though.
I've had 3 more people come to me like, it's the best car on the market.
Yeah. Fair.
I got to get behind the wheel of one again.
Oh, I mean, I'll definitely buy one in the future.
Yeah,
I just have no need for, you know.
Yeah.
I keep talking about this. I know he's talking about this. I was on a post on my Instagram yesterday. I really want a Black Series.
Have you driven one on the road though?
No. I was actually, a friend of mine's got one, and he said, "Do you want to have a drive of it?" And I said, "No, I'm not really that bothered. As in, I just really want one. I don't want to just go flat out in it."
Yeah, you don't want to go flat out on somebody else's. How do we get you a press car? I don't know if they still have a AMG Black Series.
Because some obviously I've got a couple of dealer friends. One's actually got one in stock at the moment, and he said he took it home, and he said he hated it.
Really?
Couldn't wait to get back to work.
No.
Because he said it was like quiet and muted, and you know, it sounded dead and stuff. But
that's true. That's all true.
Yeah, of course. Yeah, but it all depends what you want out of a car. I do care about noise, but I really want to. You know, I really want to see what it's like when you give it some
And you
willing.
can fix the noise. Shmee fixed the noise with his. He put that big exhaust on it, made a huge difference. And actually, you know what? If it doesn't work out, we can hope and pray. I'll send them a message after this. The Lee Collection, who are in Perth, my friends, the Lee Collection.
Oh, yeah.
They've got a Black Series there.
Oh, wow.
And I would hope to God they would let you have a go in it.
Yeah, that'd be nice.
Because we'll have a bit of time in Perth. If they're there, if they're around, and the car is still there,
Yeah.
that can be our backup.
Yeah, I'd like to have a little go in one, but I don't think it would deter. I think I'd still want one because I just want to tick it off the list.
Yeah,
like
yeah.
it's just a car I always gravitate to because I don't want to replace the Porsche yet, but a 296 is on my list, and so is that Black Series. But I just always been talking about the Black Series. I just need to get it off my list.
Get it done.
Yeah,
Do it next year, mate.
I might do. Yeah,
You know what I'm going to do next year?
trip car.
SLR McLaren.
They're good boy.
Oh,
That
mate.
is the biggest crash I've ever seen. Because that literally doesn't stop, and it doesn't go in a straight line, mate.
20 years of the McLaren SLR this year. Right now, it's happening right now. It's 20th anniversary.
It's happening right
Right now, we're in the thick of it. And like
we're in an
old
epidemic.
Manny Koshbin said, future classic. Mate, you can still find SLRs under 300 grand.
Oh, yeah, they're
and we're going to
300
be sitting here going, wow, SLR McLaren's £1 million. Should have got them, shouldn't we? And I go, oh, told you, Tony.
They're half a few quid to service, though, by the way.
I can imagine how to run, and they're kind of poo to drive, but I've always loved them. I think they're super cool
Why don't you get one then?
because, well,
You've got some money.
I'd have to sell the GT3,
Yeah,
the 360,
yeah. Your house.
my house, all this equipment. Like, it's a lot. If you tell me, if a PTS manual GT3 was still worth 300 grand,
It's
definitely not one that's had its drive shaft fall off as well. I honestly, but the problem is, I'd have that would be an investor car, you know.
Yeah.
I'm driving it once a year,
Yeah.
and I'm just sitting and praying that I've got it right. But I do still look at SLR McLarens, going, those cars are heinously undervalued.
Yeah, fair.
Because
Yeah,
there's a point with cars where how they drive stops mattering.
well, when it's 20 years old, I mean, you can't. It's not from that point of view. It's not fair on the car to compare it because we're all spoiled. How many times have we said
I know,
that?
but it was crap in its era.
Yeah,
I mean, it's always been crap.
yeah, but it was less crap. Do
I
you know what I
I'm
mean?
not so sure.
No,
I think it was always a bit crap. Yeah.
But nowadays, like, you know what I mean?
Yeah.
As cars move on so quickly,
Yeah, because the Enzo is famously awful.
it's terrible.
Terrible, but brilliant.
It's literally right up on my 1 or 2 list of cars to
Yeah,
dream.
lottery picks.
It's there.
Enzo's right there.
Yeah.
Yeah,
It's-
SLR McLaren for me is just
Have you driven an SLR car?
many times.
Don't
I've
like
actually
it?
driven 4 or 5 times. It's hard not to like. It's just not good.
Yeah.
The brakes don't work.
No.
In a car that goes well over 200 miles an hour, I'm sure. The handling is bizarre,
Yeah.
and the gearbox is crap.
Yeah.
So you're in this kind of muscle car feeling supercar that's a hyper GT that's really fast. You don't want to use the paddles. Just let the car do its own thing.
The Americans
do not
must
try and
have
use the
made that
paddles.
car. The Germans didn't make. The Americans must have made
No,
that. car.
McLaren made it, mate.
Yeah, but
It was McLaren Automotive.
yeah, but it must have been the American
No,
people.
no, listen to what I just said. It was McLaren Automotive. Pre-12C, McLaren Automotive.
I know,
They
but
just stuck a Mercedes badge on it.
but they must have had some American influence, mate, because that car is literally American.
No, but you're saying
Don't
this in a
stop,
really
Rolls
cliche
Royce.
way. Yeah, so
That's
cliche.
true, but that's true though.
No.
It's not cliche. It's facts.
The point being, I think it's and I don't know enough here, so feel free, any SLR aficionados, to comment below, that it was firstly a project that maybe would have never or should never have seen the light of day, like a bit of a backroom project. McLaren, as I say, hadn't built a car since the F1, weren't really on the road to the 12C, I don't think, didn't necessarily have the abilities to compete with, because it was going up against Carrera GT and Ferrari Enzo. And so really they built an unbelievably fast car that was obviously celebrating the 300 SL, the original gull wing and the SLR thing, but was a bit of a concept brought to life that, yeah, once you dialed into it, you went, well, actually all these parts are kind of crap. And so that's why up against Carrera GT, up against Enzo, it just never lived up to that expectation. Not because Americans got involved, because, you sound like Jeremy Clarkson from 2005. Let's move on. We know that Americans can make all right cars now.
Now,
But-
yeah. You couldn't back then, though.
No, yeah, but
That's what I'm saying.
it was made by Brits. It was
Right.
made by Brits. So you're going to have to put your hands up before our US audience come at you.
But the Carrera
cancel
GT and
us.
the Enzo are piles of
No,
poo
no,
as
no,
well.
Carrera GT's not.
Well, I disagree.
No,
though,
but you're wrong.
Not okay.
Carrera GT, you are wrong. You just hate it because you hate it. That's fine. You're allowed to hate it, but you cannot say it's not good. Enzo is flawed, and admittedly, everyone puts their hands up and say flawed. Carrera GT is a fantastic driver's car.
Right. In your opinion.
In my opinion.
Right. Good. and every other person that owns
Wrong!
it, and the people that don't own it, tell the truth.
I don't own it either.
No.
But no, it's...
Yeah, but you just like shit cars. You know? We know this.
Exactly.
We know this.
Yeah, we know this. Speaking of shit cars, how are you getting on with the M3 touring?
I love it, man.
Yeah, no, I was joking. M5 touring, spotted testing now.
Oh, no.
Does that make you jealous?
No. It's different market, mate. You know that car's going to be 150 grand
no,
or
I
something.
told you that.
No.
I told you that. And you went,
Because
no way, not a chance.
The dealer, the BMW dealer that I deal with, they think start on that price on that car is going to be 130,000 quid.
Yeah.
Start.
Yeah. No. I mean, I saw this coming from a mile away, and I know people in other parts of the world who have been told or been spec'd a car to 150 grand.
I cannot get my...
Yeah.
I mean, it's good because as good as that car will be, and we always speak about the M5, the saloon car, being the best all-round car around, although I do happen to think that the M3 Touring is that now. Is that going to take the mantra? Mantra?
It's the XM in estate car format, essentially.
Yeah.
I mean, next week we've got a big episode talking about the car industry and specifically financials of the car industry, the fact that prices are going through the roof for new cars, used market is all over the place. You know, we got a lot to discuss.
Yeah.
And this is one of those prime examples.
What?
Something just collapsed.
It's like the building was going to fall
Someone
down.
died.
I hope not.
I think someone just died. There was a big bang there.
Bang!
God, that was a bit terrifying.
The wall shook.
Can I speak of someone dying? Just quickly, side story. This is not funny, but on our way back from Lisbon, I think there was a strike from the Portuguese air staff. Anyway, so we had to do a long queue at the airport. You know when they pre-board you now? So they check your ticket and they send you down. You wait in the, what's it called?
Like a gully.
Yeah, the gully or the gangway to the plane. You just have to wait there for hours and hours. And it was super hot. Some poor guy obviously started to feel a bit faint. So he went to sit down and he passed out.
Right.
My wife clearly thought he died. And rather than rushing over to aid or alert staff or say, darling, go and help this man, she ran as if she had killed someone. She literally went, oh my God, turned with baby and ran a country mile. And I went, you're like that person. If there was an avalanche coming, you wouldn't say, babe, run. You'd just be gone. She'd just be gone.
Pull ladder up.
She saw danger or something that she wasn't aware. And she thought, I'm looking out for myself here. Thank God she at least took the baby. I mean...
So what happened?
Well, he was totally fine, thank God. I say he just passed out.
Oh, thank
Luckily,
God.
there was doctors there, rehydrated him.
So no one died?
No one died.
Oh, good.
She just thought they did and looked after herself.
Right.
Checked herself out. She was gone.
Gone.
Took me 10 minutes to go and find her.
Where
and
did
be
she go?
God knows.
Well, she can't get on the plane.
Fear of flight. No, she just ran back up the galley and somehow go, I got to get out of here.
Right. Panicked.
Panicked. So if there's some disastrous scenario and I'm with her, well, I'm dog alone.
Well, you've had a couple of disasters. What about the earthquake?
Well, tell me about that. She did the same thing.
Did you?
Yeah. I should have seen it coming.
Yeah,
I was there with my whole family and I looked over and she's the other side of the garden, sorting herself out. So yeah, if you're in an emergency, don't hang out with my wife.
She'll be gone.
So anyway, what I was saying is that we're going to be talking about things like the fact that, and how can we get to the point where an M5, forget that it's a touring or not, is 150 odd grand.
Yeah.
Like that is a mad one, but it's a sign of the times. That's the world we're living in right now.
And we have had it really lucky over, especially in the UK, because car prices have been cheap to most places in the world, mate. Not just in Europe, as in the world, but we're slowly catching up now.
Well, I'm sure, and again, topic for next week, but yeah, I just think I cannot imagine many people, even if you're a loyal M5 customer, right? Because there are people out there who just buy M5 after M5 after M5 or 5 Series after 5 Series. You have your car, that's what you get. You wait for the new one, trade in, off you go. Maybe you've been praying for a touring or whatever it might be. you must be sitting there when the dealer calls up and goes, "Oh, sir, the next generation is coming and they're offering a touring this year." And you go, "Great, I'll get that. Let's spec it up." And they say, "Oh, that's our final price of 150 grand." They're not going, "What?"
Yeah, they are going, "What?"
Because
they're 100%. They're going, "What?"
No one's sitting there going, "Oh, sure, no problem." You know, everyone always expects the new car to be a bit more, but yeah, it's kind of wild. So yeah, stay tuned. Next week, we're going to be doing a deep dive, as I say, into everything that's kind of going on or that we're experiencing, and I'm going to be quizzing Tony really on what he thinks is happening with new cars, etc. But we'll call this week's episode to an end. It's a good place to close, I guess, teasing next week's. So yeah, get ready, Australia.
We're coming.
We're coming. And if you want to know how to attend these events, the exact venues for each of the cities and where to book tickets, stay tuned, because I think a couple of weeks, probably at the beginning of September, we'll be launching that page and all that information. But for now, if you want to follow Tony on social media, he's at Tony Gravelwood Car Sales on most social media platforms. He's got a load of new stock coming. So if you're looking for a lovely car into the autumn, go and check out things that he's got coming through. I got some very lovely press drives coming up, test drives and a few adventures. So follow me at Seen Through Glass, and we'll be back with you, as I said, that deep dive in the car industry next week. Bye-bye.
See ya.